on my grandfather's farm, and my mother was an only child. My father was the youngest of 12. My parents both graduated from the original Boyd High School in McKinney in 1941. My mother lives here and is still alive. She's 88,
Great.
And I've got. It's interesting because there's 6 kids in our family, and 4 of them have moved back to McKinney.
Wow.
Lived in Dallas or other places, because frankly, I mean, not only are we returning home, but McKinney's a good place to live. And then my mother gave me my grandfather's barns that were on the property, and I tore those barns down, the red barn, the hay barn, and the dairy barn, and I used that material to build my house. So I live in a tin building or a tin barn.
Fabulous.
And I used some of the red barn to panel one of the rooms downstairs. And so when you pull up to my place, you feel like you're pulling up to an old barn. When we moved to our office here in this building, this is the Ritz building, which was the movie theater. And I, kissed my first girl right below us, right here in the movie theater. So you can.
Is there a star on the floor?
No, there's no star, but so you can go home again. Stanley Marcus years ago said, I'll never forget this, he said, public service is the rent we pay for the space we occupy. When I moved back to McKinney, and I don't know why this struck a chord with me, but I remember thinking, when I moved back, I thought there are 2 organizations that I would really like to be involved with at some point in the future, and it was McKinney Education Foundation, and it was the Samaritan Inn. I don't want to sound too hokey, but I target them in my heart, and I never said anything to anybody about that. But here I am, 10 years later, and I've been president of one, and I'm currently president of the other. The Samaritan Inn is it's really a homeless program. It's not a homeless shelter. It's not an overnight shelter. It's a program helping people to rehabilitate. The passion I have in MEF in particular is for first generation kids whose parents didn't go to college, who aren't necessarily first in family, in other words, first to graduate from high school, but they don't have anybody that has gone to college, higher education.
What began your passion for creating things?
I got a divorce 20 years ago. As a result of that, I really became very broken, and I really started kind of letting myself feel. And when you uncover feelings, you uncover all sorts of things. And one of the things I uncovered is that I was pretty creative, and frankly, all of us are creative, just in different ways. I'm totally convinced of that. When I turned 40, I started kind of paying attention, and I think that a whole lot of being artistic and a whole lot of being creative is just vision, is just paying attention, is just looking. I was up at the farm, my grandfather's farm, and there was a trough that was by the hay barn, and it was full of baling wire. And I formed a flower out of the petals. I made the wire formed the petals, and so I started making these flowers that I thought were kind of cool. This tree grew up through the fence line, and so it actually grew up through the wire. I have to name every piece I do because that's fun for me. This is called Love Will Find a Way. So that's sort of how I started, but then I also started taking art lessons from Annie Royer. I go to flea markets. I love flea markets. I go to Canton every month. It's my therapy. I don't play golf. And I'll see stuff and I'll think, I think I could do something with that. And that's what I did with these two pieces here and those two pieces there, I've bought a box of old matches. So I love the old advertising art of these. It's just the colors, the graphics. It's all, I love that old. And so now I'm able to put it on pieces. And so one time I was at a flea market and this guy was selling a big old container of yardsticks. And so I bought a bunch of yardsticks thinking, I bet I could do something with that. And so there's a couple of pieces at Snug right now that are hanging that are made from yardsticks. I don't think I'm really a very good artist, but I like to, it's just fun. There is nothing more scary than being in an art show where people are actually looking at your art and you're seeing whether they like it or not. Because you're putting yourself out there. I mean, I sell life insurance. You'd think that I'd be okay with rejection.
Like old big sun, wanna know what we've been learning and learning from.
It's really pretty. It's a pretty good life.
That's what it sounds like. I want to be you.
I'm very lucky. Well, you don't really want to be me because I sell life insurance. It's like being at a cocktail party, and it's been like being at a cocktail party and telling somebody you're a minister. It's like, where'd everybody go?
If you think you have a story to tell, send me an email. But I have to tell you up front, it better be good. I hope.